Thanks so much, everybody, for attending. Great to see the real, like, heavy-duty local representation here from the two cities. This is great. Really appreciate everybody taking the time. And all of those who have driven, I think probably our furthest commute might be there from Klamath. Is that right? Maybe three hours? Chilliquin, sorry. Yeah, there we go. About 2 to 3 hours, isn't it? Somewhere in there? So yeah, appreciate the drive today. Really, really wonderful. Actually, I suppose Ryan gets the award. He drove down from Seattle, so so I suppose he gets the award. But anyway, well, thank you everybody for attending. What I want to do is just quickly go through the agenda. So today what we're going to start off with is the tips and tricks in version 10. For those of you that aren't aware, version 10.1 has been released, and there are quite a few new features in the 10.0, 10.1 feature set. Jennifer will be presenting that today. We also have a speaker at 10 o'clock. Michael Swanson will be here, and he'll be attending an interview and talking with us a little bit about some of the project that they built out with the Oregon State Lands. And that really involves Laserfiche Forms, Laserfiche Rio, workflow, and a GIS mapping integration. So really cool setup at the Oregon State Lands, and he's going to talk a little bit about that. At 11 o'clock, Dan will be presenting on the advanced scanning strategies with scanners, import agent, and also PhotoDocs. How many people in here use PhotoDocs? All right, Dan does. Well, that's good. So I think what you're going to find is not only will we give you some really great strategies for scanning and best practices, but you'll also learn about probably tool sets that you have that you aren't even aware of. So you've been using Laserfiche for all this time, and you probably have popped open the printer driver and and seen, oh, hey, there's a snapshot for Laserfiche. What in the world does that do? Well, you're going to learn about that today. And that, in a lot of cases, can take place of your scanning. Same thing goes for PhotoDocs. A lot of great feature sets that are in that program that a lot of people don't know about. And the reason is because that program was added a few versions ago, and people have had Laserfiche for many, many years, and it just kind of sort of popped up, and people don't even know it's there. So we'll take a look at that. Then we'll have lunch today here in the space. And if you did confirm lunch, you'll have a name written on your sandwich, specially written, so watch for that. If not, there'll be a pool of sandwiches to pull from. Then we have a speaker at the end of the day here will be Ryan. Will be talking about evaluating your own repository and building your own health report. If you have been working with us for a number of years, we do a free system audit for all of our users. So we go through and we take a look at a lot of different problem areas and put it together in a report for you and try to discuss that and give you pointers. We want you to be able to find out how you can build your own report and help you walk through the system to find some of those easy searches and easy features to be able to automate some of this testing. Let's see. What we've got next on the list is, first session is with, I've got a product roadmap to cover with you. That's right. Before we start on our first session. So just to give everybody an update where Laserfiche is going with its product update, our product roadmap is QuickFields 10 and QuickFields Server is right on the precipice of release. So this is all new. The Laserfiche QuickFields application is largely the same, but now they'll have a Laserfiche QuickFields Server and Laserfiche QuickFields Scanning separated. So if you do a lot of volume with your scanning and you're a really big QuickFields user, it's something to take a look at, and that's something that we'll go ahead and take a look at very soon, once we have that all available. So let's see. I'm getting told that our webcast users cannot see the slideshow, so I'm just going to go ahead and hope that this doesn't drop our screen. And it sort of works. Bear with us just a moment. Still working with the screens. Okay, well, while we're checking our screens in the background, I'm just going to continue telling you about the roadmap while we see if we can fix that. Other items on the product roadmap is the business process library has been released, and Jennifer's going to talk about that a little bit this morning as well. And as of today, the import agent version 10 has been released. So what's great about import agent 10 is that it has now fixed a lot of the problems that we had with import agent 9. And if you are a big user of import agent and you have all your copiers set up for scanning, what you'll know is that we had a bit of an issue with Laserfiche's latest release where PDFs that weren't OCR'd being brought in and generating pages wouldn't do that simultaneously. So that's been rectified. We also have the Laserfiche connector for Rico is also being released this year. So if you are a Rico copier user and you'd like to have the connector, which is a specific integration with the Rico copier, that is also available. And will be available soon, rather. And then we have, lastly, the we do have the version 11 coming out. So that's pretty exciting. When version 11 is available, we will be able to. Let me just fix my PowerPoint one more time. I think hopefully we're in business. Okay, so version 11 will be out yet this year. And the great place to do that and view the view the version 11 and be prepared for it is at the Laserfiche Empower conference. Still just trying to get my background screen working here. Just about done. Thanks to our crowd, by the way, for their reminder about screen sharing and being able to see everything remotely here. So there's the product roadmap for everybody at home. And, well, we're darn close up there to getting that to view. All right. So next thing to remind you about is Empower with version 11. So like I was mentioning, in January, the version 11 will be released. And right now we're on currently 10.1, and version 11 will be released then. And when version 11 is out, it's a great time to join Empower. So Empower 2017 will be happening February 7th through the 10th, and that'll be in Long Beach, California. So if you're a Power Laserfiche user, you want to learn about workflow, you want to learn about quick fields, forms, all these different new modules that you might be having access to in your system, the Power Conference is a great time to be able to do that, to have some time in front of the trainers at Laserfiche and network with other users in different industries. So here in the room we've got higher education, we've got public housing, we've got cities, we've got counties, we've got state agencies, and we also have a lot of other users that are here, financial planners and manufacturers. They'll all be there at the Empower Conference. Over 2,500 users in all attend that event, and most of the Laserfiche staff is there, most of our staff is there, and it's a great opportunity. Your organizations are guaranteed at least one Laserfiche conference ticket for free. We subsidize that through the Laserfiche, and then if you end up buying quite a few new user licenses or you upgrade to Rio or Avante, you'll also have additional tickets available to your organization for use to attend the conference. So keep that all in mind.
Absolutely. It's already
okay. We are live. We're for the first time going to be doing a dual screen presentation. So pretty exciting. Two screens at once.
Mm-hmm.
This might actually fit.
Oh, don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with our tips and tricks for version 10, and I'm going to call Jennifer to walk through the tips and tricks here. First of all, I'll go ahead and introduce her. Again, if anybody in the crowd doesn't know, she is our local account manager, customer service representative out of the Eugene area. And Jennifer, you'll just have to hit your arrow together to stay in sync. And I'll go ahead and turn that over.
Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer. Like Patrick said, I've been the one that's been emailing and calling you incessantly also. Nice to finally see you in person. That's great. So we're going to go over tips and tricks for Laserfiche 10. How many of you have already upgraded to Laserfiche 10? All right, awesome. So we're going to learn some great new features that you guys can use. Hopefully they're new to you. The rest of you I'm sure will be eagerly awaiting to upgrade. So first we're just going to go over some search tips, which is available over all of the Laserfiche options, but we're going to look at some additional features and additional ways to make it more efficient so you can find your documents really easily. We're going to look at email reports, which is a part of the search feature. the recycle bin search feature as well, which is a new feature for Laserfiche 10. The paste folders function, import profiles, start entries, all new to Laserfiche 10 as well. How to look at recent documents the easiest way. Required fields on templates. We're going to take a look at some forms features, which is our Teams option, and our business process library, and an update Word document activity in workflow. So let's take a look at our search tips. All right, so most of you probably know that there's already two main functions for searching in Laserfiche. So we've got our complex search and then our quick search, which is the one that you access right on the toolbar. So before we take a look at individual tips for each one, we're going to just overall look at how to make our searches more efficient. So this is kind of basic stuff. Even if you're searching in any kind of format, this will be really helpful. So every word is really, really important anytime you're making a search. So things like and or aren't really necessary. Just keyword searches are really going to be what's important. And typing out full sentences, as you probably know, is not really an efficient way to do that because it's going to search on every single portion of that. So don't bother taking time to type out a full sentence. We've got punctuation and uppercase, lowercase, not really important to that. Word stemming and search in Laserfiche is also supported. And what that means is that if you have a word, like a root word, it's going to search for versions of that word. So if you search for read, it's going to be like reading or read. So that's going to be one of the functions as well. That's part of the phrase search. So if you use quotation marks, it'll search for a whole phrase. And excluding terms is also a function that we have. So you can search for everything excluding this. All right, and also the or search. So that kind of is away from the main sentence search that we were just talking about. So if you do bread or tread, so it'll search for those two words and not any other functions of that, like treading or anything. So let's take a look at our quick search because that's the easiest one, probably the one that we use most often. Who uses quick search the most? All right, a couple of you. Everyone's really into their advanced search functions. So this is really the easiest function. You just get right into your toolbar, search for something, and there's already 4 sections that you can search in. So in our visual, you can see that we have search in text, and that's our OCR text. So that's going to be in the bottom pane. That's going to search for those like keywords that are OCR'd from the document itself. You can also search in fields, so the metadata that's attached to a document. But as you can see, it's a little limiting. So if you search for that, you're just going to get a ton of results, and that's kind of difficult to filter through if you've got 21,000 documents in your repository. It's going to be a bit rough. So the complex search allows for a little bit more robust search. As you can see, when you open up the search pane, there are a ton more options. So it looks like most of you do use your advanced search function, right? Yes, awesome. So the search pane opens when you click the little search icon at the top of the toolbar, and it gives you a lot of different options, and it can be a little difficult to configure all of those, so we're going to go over the best way to do that. So as we already discussed, complex search allows for a way wider range of factors and combinations. So you can do searching within different metadata fields. You can search within text. You can search within folder paths and different files and different document types. There's also a refine results button. Have you ever used a search function in Laserfiche and just gotten a ton of results? You're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot look through all of these. So the refine results button is really great for that because you can search within your search results. So you can have an overarching search and then additionally search within that to actually pinpoint what you're looking for so you don't have to spend your time scrolling through all your search results. So within the complex search function, this is a really important part, especially as we go into Laserfiche 10 with the search syntax. So at the bottom, if you select the advanced search option, there's going to be a box, as you can see at the bottom. And there's going to be this whole syntax there, and that's going to be created by the options that you select in the drop-down menu and the keywords that you've already inputted. So as you can see up here in the search terms, we've got Apple, and then the syntax down here is down there as well. So search syntax is kind of a complicated term, but essentially it's just the way that the computer translates what we select and the options that we chose into a language that the computer can understand and read and search for. So this is what it will look like. Definitely kind of complex looking, right? And now with Laserfiche 10, a really great option is that we can edit and write this text ourselves. And that's going to be really important when we get more into our different search functions that I talked about before. So utilizing this feature is going to be really important. You can also copy and paste it. So as you saw in our little example before, advanced search supports the use of what we call wildcards and operators, and those are just going to be different characters that you use to separate your language and tell the system to do different things with those keywords. So as you can see here, here are some of the operators. So we've got brackets, which will symbolize a range of characters, and we can also set sections of searches, so search within this phrase, or the wildcard is a star. You can search with this word and it'll search anything associated with that word, anything with that word in it, like read can turn into bread or tread, so we'll search for that whole text. And here you can see a little more up close, so you can see a little bit more of the details of those operators in use. So here we have this complicated syntax up, like you obviously can't just read that, right, unless you're an expert in syntax. And that's how it translates into something we can understand. So this syntax returns items in Laserfiche where Apple appears in the document text or entry name, recipes is a template, and the main ingredient field is apples. And that would be really hard to configure just a search. You can't type that in the search box, right? That's going to return a crazy amount of results or no results because it's not going to understand what you're talking about. And this is where our syntax comes in again. It's, again, very important. Remember your syntax. So we can go over and customize our quick searches. So we obviously only have those four fields that we can search in previously, right? And that's a little limiting, right? You don't want to just search in entry names, and you don't want to go into advanced search every time and configure the drop-downs because that's going to take forever. And you guys are all busy people, right? So if you go down to the customized quick searches, you can create your own quick search. So what that will do is just add your configured search to that bar. So it's going to be search in text, search in template, and it'll be right there for you, something you configured already, which will be great, save you a ton of time. So you just go in there, it's really simple, you create it, you can copy and paste directly from the advanced search syntax and put it in here, and it'll make your own. So as you see here, we've done something with the Apple recipe syntax that we had previously. So we can now, as you see, search in the recipes right from the quick search. So if that's something you do often and you don't want to go into advanced search, this is a really great feature and it will save you an immense amount of time. And again, search syntax is going to be really helpful in a workflow activity for email reports. So you can use it in conjunction with the Laserfiche workflow and can process the search automatically and email those search results to a selected recipient. Can anyone think of a good reason or a search that they always have to run and they're sick of going into the system and always running it? Nobody runs searches, man. All right. So anytime there's a search that you have to run frequently, maybe it's for documents that you have to eliminate from your repository, or it's a contract that you have to review. So you can have your workflow set up, and it will run that search for contracts that you need to review, and then it will email the search results to you. So you can do it. All right, great. Thank you, Patrick.
I'm here as a user of Laserfiche makes me buy my Laserfiche licenses too, so just so everybody knows, you can get these, but I buy mine as well, and I'm a big user of it. And one of the things I love about the auto email reports is contracts. So I have a lot of contracts with outside vendors. I have a lot of contracts with all of you all. And when I'm in Texas, I say all y'all, but today we're in Oregon. So I look at the reports auto email to me where I have contracts that are expiring, especially my vendors. So that's one great test. And then also for a lot of our cities and counties, particularly some of the cities and counties here in Oregon, we use this for upcoming documents and records that are ready to go through destruction and disposition. So that can be auto-emailed out with the reports function from workflow, but then from Laserfiche, which Jennifer is showing, or will show, is the ability to export out reports right from the Laserfiche client. So you as a user can get a report generated of how productive your users are scanning. How many documents did they scan today? Click one report right out of the system. So there's my two suggestions.
Thank you, Patrick. So we're going to walk through kind of how to add this activity in our workflow. So those of you who have workflow can kind of see how it would work, and those of you who don't can kind of see what you like about it. So basically we start off with just creating a search result token and adding that to our workflow process. Does everyone know what a token is? Who doesn't know what a token is? All right, everyone knows what a token is. Fantastic. So we just need to create that token, and a token, I'm just going to go over it real quick, is essentially a placeholder for information that you want to input at a later time when it generates from the document. So we create that new token activity, and then we want to have a run search activity. So this is going to be the search options that you have configured. And then we want to insert a for each entry activity, which is going to perform whichever actions that you want on those search results. So here we have just a visual of how that would work. So we have the create search results token activity right there, and the token is search one results, so that's going to take the information from the first search and add it to where that token was. And then we're going to use the assign token values activity, and this is what the email will look like when that is all processed. So this is how you configure the email. So it's going to be a little bit rougher, as you can see in the bottom. It's going to have those token placeholders for the search one results, and then a little bit more HTML formatting, and that will change once you actually receive the email. It's going to look a lot different. And one of the great things about workflow activities in general, and especially about the email reports, is that you can have them to run on a scheduled time frame. It all depends on how you configure your workflow. You can also have them run when a certain activity is performed, so that'll be great. So if there's a new contract added, maybe you need to do that. Or if it's every 3 months you want to review the contracts that are ending, it'll do it every 3 months. And this is how the final email will look. So once you get that email and you have it configured in your workflow, it's obviously looking a little bit more refined for you. So you've got the search results right there, and the HTML formatting is in there, and you have that token filled in. And a new feature for Laserfiche 10, which is really great for especially admins. If you have people deleting things when they're not supposed to or on accident, things like that, you can now perform searches for documents in the recycle bin, which is great. You weren't previously allowed to do that. So if you have 30,000 documents that you deleted and luckily haven't purged them all, you can go in there and say, oh, I didn't actually want this document, or maybe you're missing a document and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where this document went, and you need to search for it. You can go in there and say, oh, here it is, someone accidentally deleted that. So it functions really similar to the regular advanced search option, and you can search on essentially all the properties of the document that you could in the advanced search, and it opens up just a pane where you can look in entry names, fields, the template, and the document text that was associated previously. And how you do that, it's really simple. You just right-click on the recycle bin and click search, and then it will open up that pane for you. And this feature is managed by entry access. So like I said, admins will have the most use for this. And also the paste folders activity is new to Laserfiche 10 as well. So certain departments mostly have different folder structures that they have. So like HR departments, can any of you think of a folder structure that you use repeatedly over and over. Maybe you have different clients that you have in there, different departments that you have the same folder structure, like taxes, anything like that? Yes. You.
Date structures?
Yeah.
For years, months, or groupings and dates?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you have date structures, and in those dates you could have maybe income taxes or taxes for all your employees or things like that. So this will be great when setting those up. If you don't have it configured in workflow already, you can just copy that folder structure and not copy all the documents with it, which would be great. So you don't have to go through and delete all those, but you have the folder structure already set up. So let's say, hey, it's a new year, we need a new folder. So we just copy the folder structure and we're ready to go. So that's also really simple to set up. You just go to edit and then paste folders only, so you don't get all those unnecessary documents in there or repeat documents, because we like to avoid those. And then the folder structure will copy and you can use it. And import profiles. This is one of my favorite ones. It's really a time saver, which is my favorite because time isn't something we don't get enough of. So an import profile allows you to configure a default name, a folder path, a template, a volume, many different things. You can leave some of those off if you want. So when you're importing documents into your repository, you can already have a structure set up. See, I already have Jen's test profile set up, so if I wanted to import a document, it would go to the General tab, and then I can choose the file path as well. And this is really simple to set up. Once you select Import Profile, you just select it from the drop-down menu. If it's not there already, you just go to Create. And then you can choose the document name, in which you can select tokens. So you can put a token there to take that from the document that you import and make it name the document that way. You can choose the folder path. So if you want it to go into your years folder, you can just use the years folder import profile and select that, and then whichever settings you have, like a template or a volume setup, it will be automatically applied to that document. So there's import profiles are saved on a per user basis. So this is really a versatile function. So you can, individual users, set up your own import profiles. So if there are selected documents that you usually use and it's just you, then you can set up your own, like I set up my own Jen's test profile. And that way, no one else really has access to them, and they can set up whatever import profiles work for them. Or as an admin, you can set up import profiles that maybe several employees or several departments will use, so that they have access to them already and are just ready to go when they're done. And this is a super cool new feature too. It's pretty simple. Have you, those Laserfiche users for the new version, have you seen the start entry activity? Great, new stuff. Okay, so this function is really similar to maybe if you're in an internet browser and there's a start entry. So essentially you can just start entry, right-click, start entry. It's going to be one of your favorited entries. So if you're working with a document a lot, maybe you're working on a contract and you don't want to keep going through the file path, you don't want to deal with the searches. This is the document, you've been working on it for months and months. I know we all have documents like that where we just have to keep going to it. It'll be right at the top of your repository file path. So it'll be right there, start entries, and you can just quickly and easily access it and get right to work. So one really great feature of this is if you're using different features or different like mobile access and web access, the start entries will carry over. So if you are on the go and you're using your iPad to look at a document or access contract, you can just pull it up, it'll be in your start entries, and you can just pull it up immediately, and you're not with a client or someone that you're wanting to sign this contract, and you get it right up. And now we've got our file recent. So if you want to look at recent documents, maybe it's not something you would star because you don't access it that often or don't think you need to access it that often. This is a really, really simple trick. Essentially, you just go to File and Recent. So right there you have, as you can see, several different documents that I accessed recently. All right, this is a great one too. I know several of you would be really happy about this. Previously, when you marked a field that was required on a template, that field was now required on every template that it was on. So if you had a contracts template and had a contract amount, and that was required for that contract, and then if there was a contract amount field on another template, that field would be required on that template, but maybe it wasn't really necessary for that particular reason. So now what you can do is set up a required field for, let's say, the contracts template, and then you can use either contract amount on a different template, and that won't be necessarily required. So if you have a user that's using it and it's maybe useful information, but not necessarily vital to the document, you don't have to make it required. And this is a really great feature also, Teams and Forms. It's been getting a lot of buzz around it. So Teams is a really awesome way. I know you guys all love working together, and you guys have to do that quite a bit. So in Forms, if you're doing maybe an expense report or a travel budget approval or anything that really requires approval from a different person, there can be a whole group of people that are assigned to that task. So you can have several people working on the same thing, or you don't have to wait for someone. Maybe someone went on vacation, so you need to approve it. So that'll be really helpful in making sure that things do get done, a document doesn't get stuck with anybody. It's really efficient so that different people can access different documents and approve them. So you can assign, reassign, and release tasks to make sure they're completed by the correct person, as I said. I actually was talking to someone the other day, and they mentioned that it would be a really great way to actually keep track of who's doing the most work. So that might be a good feature for you guys to use. And we've also got our business process library, which Patrick talked about, in our project roadmap. So this is really great and an incredible time saver as well. So when we create forms and workflows, obviously quite a bit of work goes into it. It's not going to eliminate all your work, unfortunately, but it will eliminate a good chunk. The business process library is new to Laserfiche 10, and it gives you an option to select from pre-built business processes that are pretty common and generic. So if you have an HR business process, like an onboarding process, which essentially everyone has, you can just follow that and maybe edit it to suit your needs if you have maybe different tasks that you need to complete. So the way you access this is just directly from forms. There's about 40 plus right now, and they're adding different ones all the time. And there's diagrams, there's briefcases and forms, and template and field definitions, and you just download those right into your repository. So each business process consists of one or more forms that will be installed when you click download. So you just go right to the business process library in forms, select processes, and then a dialog box will open up, and you're going to create a new template, and then there'll be a business process library tab right there. So you can select, as you can see, several different ones. They're grouped into categories for you. It's really easy to access. And here we have our awesome workflow activity. I know you guys love workflow. And this is a really great feature. I know a lot of people have been using this quite a bit. So it's an update Word document activity. Maybe it doesn't sound that interesting, but it's really great. Really great to use. So what this does is allows you to create a Microsoft Word document from a document template using workflow. You just add this update Word document activity to your workflow, just like we did with the search results. So really what this document will do is create a Word document for you. So you can generate text from different documents or different search results, and if you have a pre-built Word document or a form in Word, it will insert that information into certain areas in that document. So it's really pretty simple to configure. Once you add that update Word document activity to your workflow, you just go to the properties pane, which is usually right on the right side, use the source dropdown, as you can see right there, and select from the document's location. And then you have to figure out what changes the workflow is going to actually make to that Word document. So there's the find and replace option, the simple field merge, and the table field merge. So from those options, so many different things that you can do. You can insert information into an actual table, which is really great because no one likes to put things all the way into their table, because I know I've spent a ton of time just trying to configure those and they drive me crazy. So the find and replace option lets you automate the same find and replace functionality that's available in Microsoft Word. It does not require the document to contain any merge fields or special formatting in the Word document itself. So what you do in the properties pane is just tell workflow what section to find. So maybe you're configuring a sales proposal and you need to insert a price. So it's going to find this section of the document that you tell it to, maybe find price insert here, and then replace it with whatever it is that you want to replace it with, a quote or anything like that. So you just configure the information that you want to replace that with. So if you have a document that's going to be updated by a database as well as a workflow, or you have more complicated updating needs, then you select the simple field merge option, which is located in the same section as the field merge. And as you can see, there's several more features because it's a more complex replacement option. The table field merge option lets you populate a table in a Word document from a data source. So that will be really helpful when, again, configuring those tables or entering data into a table on a Word document. And in the advanced settings, this is a really great feature also because no one likes duplicate documents or anything like that. It lets you define if the activity is going to just create a new document that's separate from the template that you use to make that Word document, or you can just save a new document. So it will keep that template ready to use any other time if this is something that you need to do quite often. And when the Word document activity runs, it's going to create a new document from the source document. So that's when you need to decide, hey, I want this to replace that document. All right. Looks like we made it through all those tips and tricks. I know they were very exciting. Does anyone have any questions about some of the things we went over? Yes?
On your star, when we click the make it a star,
Right.
you click it and make it unstar after you're finished with it?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. You don't have to look at that right there forever. Great. Yeah?
For the business process library, once you download those templates, they're editable just like anything else, right? You can make adjustments or changes, or are they fixed process that can't be altered?
No, you can definitely alter them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great questions, everybody. Any other questions?
So,
Yeah.
in your searching, what's the advantage of creating a really complicated folder structure that people would have to learn to find stuff relative to just creating metadata from documents and just teach them how to do templates?
It kind of just depends on what your needs are. So if your organization just has a really simple file structure, that's awesome for you because you don't have to look through all of those things. And it really just depends on what you're going to be using it for. So if you have a ton of documents, or you're a different department that has maybe records that you have to manage, things like that, that's where it really comes in handy. But if you have, 10 documents that you're looking for, it's not going to be too necessary for you to use.
Hey, could I chime in a little bit further on that? So I know when I'm going on site and talking to organizations about their file and folder structure, that you might have a very complex folder structure, but based on access rights to the individuals, they look simple. So because they're not available, not even viewable, not visible. So it seems really simple to them, although in reality it's more complex. So I think you can kind of have your cake and eat it too in that regard, where you've got the simple for the individual, complex for the system administrator.
Great. I'm going to hand it over to...
Well, do we have any questions from the webcast users? I know Lexi, our marketing coordinator, is monitoring questions, so if you have any, we're listening. We're monitoring. But while we're waiting, I wanted to just circle back because a lot of what's been presented is new, and especially for our longtime users, and there are some users in this crowd, I believe, that have been using Laserfiche for, does anybody want to guess what the longest term user is in the room? Anyone want to throw out a guess on years behind the Laserfiche wheel? Anyone want to take a guess? Good. 10 years? Okay, that's a good guess. No, it's higher than that. Anyone else want to guess? 21 years. Coming up on 21 years. Can you believe it? There's a user in here that's been using Laserfiche, and stand up if you know who you are. You might not know who you are. I'll release the news at the end. We'll let you know. I'll have a private meeting with you and let you know you've been using Laserfiche for 21 years. Anyway, what I want to do is just circle back to a couple of points that Jennifer made. And one is that import profile, just so that everybody understands really how that's being used and why that's really beneficial. I think Jennifer did a great job, but I like to kind of paraphrase from the basic user perspective that I am, which is I have a lot of different documents coming in from different sources. So I might have something that's coming in from maybe documents from the network that are reports, and I might also be importing contracts from a different type of set of records. And when I import them, I want different templates, and I might want preloaded template data in each one of those default settings. So I can choose my import profile, and that goes across to snapshot as well and scanning. So we have all these different import type options for importing, and you can set up what is specific to those types of documents. So think about it as you might have a number of different document sets that are standard, and you're doing that over and over and over again, and you might have multiple sets of those documents. So save yourself the time of changing all the drop-down menus and changing the default title and all that, and set up an import profile. It's a great way to do that. As far as the starred entries, we're seeing a lot of people using that for that sort of document that they're going to be revisiting over and over again. They might have a number of contracts or documents that they're referencing in a project. Maybe you have a number of project files, and you have documents in each one of those project files that pertain to you only, or those are specifically important to you. So you can just star those, and you have them in your essential, star bucket, we'll call it, your star bucket. I want to trademark that, star bucket. So think about that. So think about that, using stars. That's another really good use of it if you are, managing a lot of documents in different folders. Then lastly, I would circle back to the Teams feature in Forms. How many of you in the audience here, and I'll let you at home all know how many there are, but how many of you are Teams or Forms users rather? How many have Forms in their organization? Okay, maybe about half, maybe about half in the room maybe. So Forms has become extremely popular, and to just paraphrase what Jennifer was saying, is that if you are a Forms user and you might have to approve a submitted request or a form that came into Laserfiche, so somebody filled out a time off request and maybe there's 2 different managers that can approve it, or an expense report came in and it might be, again, 2 or 3 people that can approve that, and one of them is out for the day, one of them's out for the whole week, it can be an entire team group that does that approval as opposed to hitting one person and sort of dead-ending at that one person approving it. So keep that in mind for Teams. Great feature in Forms, really popular. Just any other questions stem from any of those? Anybody have any other follow-up questions?